Hi everyone and welcome. My name is Dora and this is my finale to my Eyeshadow Declutter Project Pan. So I started this project in April. I wanted to rotate through my entire palette collection to really assess what palettes do I still really love and like to hold on to. Are there any palettes that I could perhaps put on the chopping block? Initially I did this sort of on a monthly basis and I selected 5 palettes and I would put my 2 least favorite palettes on the chopping block after each month. I then moved on to No Pan Left Behind, sort of paused this project, but still, even when I started this project all those months ago, I did that with the intention of decluttering some palettes. I wanted to declutter 8 palettes. That number has gone up because I received some decluttered shadows, a palette from the lovely Ruth. I'm going to link her down below. And it was sort of custom made within the Sugar and Spice palette. 15 beautiful shadows. Super grateful for that, but I did say that if anything comes into my collection, not necessarily through purchasing because I'm on low buy for palettes, but maybe through declutters, then that number would have to go up respectively too. So last time I updated you, I said I would like to do 9 palettes in total. And I was already at 6 palettes decluttered, so with 3 missing. Quite early on in the project, I had already decluttered 2 palettes. The I Heart Revolution Pineapple palette, which I gifted to my niece, and the Ellen Tracy The Naked Eye Collection palette, which I gave to a really good friend of mine. I've since then also depotted 4 palettes, or what was left of them, and decluttered some of the shadows in there, which I count cheekily in this project as declutter. Declutters are really hard for me. I'm just not that person. I should say with makeup. With other things less so, but with makeup I find it really hard to let go of it. And of course I'm super interested in eyeshadows. I like colourful makeup. I also really like neutral makeup. Recently found out that for someone who really enjoys neutral eye looks as well, I mean, not that you can tell right now, I don't have that many neutral palettes in my collection. I think they were all sort of bought with Pan eyeshadows in mind around 2022, 2023. So the ones I depotted were 3 Revolution palettes, Revolution Jewel Glow, Revolution Forever Flawless Chilled, and the Revolution Kombucha Kiss palette, which was my Pan That palette of last year and the year before. And out of that palette, for example, only 3 shadows survived, and I even did some frankening with that 3rd shadow. And the 6th palette is the Natasha Denona Ayana palette, another one I got from Ruth. It's a mini, well not a mini, but a 5 pan. And I depotted it because the packaging broke, and since the pans are magnetic, it was super easy to just pop them out with a little pin and put them into one of my magnetic Z palette type things. Now I obviously still need to declutter 3 more if I want to stick to my word. Something happened in the meantime and I actually took on a little declutter from a friend, and I've got a, not too bad, I've got a 5 pan neutral palette here, and it's also from Revolution, and I just couldn't say no to it, especially because it was soon after I had established that I've only got 2 neutral palettes in my collection, and this is just so beautiful. I really like it, and for someone, you know, yeah, I could like pan this, but I've only just got it, so not ready for that just quite yet. And this is the Revolution Pro Love Yourself Shadow Palette, yeah, in soft pink. And these are some swatches of the 2 shimmers, this one and this one. Yeah, I can't wait. I don't think I've used it on my eyes yet, maybe once. Can't wait to roll this into No Pan Left Behind, or just, you know, wow, use it in my own time. Yeah, so that's come in. So that means I now need to declutter 10 palettes. I'm actually, as of this video today, only up to 9. So I need to do 1 more before the end of the year. But I might film this video in 2 halves, and by the end of the video, or the last section of it, I might actually be further and be at my 10th palette decluttered already. But let me talk to you about the other 3 palettes. There was another Revolution palette in my collection from the Forever Flawless range as well. So just like the Chilled palette, which I had already depotted. And I ended up passing that on for free on Vinted. Someone made a purchase. I'd put a bunch of makeup brushes on Vinted as a bundle. I think it was 12 items in total, or 15 even, including some tools. And when the person bought them, I just sent them a private message and was like, hey, would you like any of these 2 palettes here? I don't think I can give you both because of the weight and the prepaid shipping label, but pick one if you like, and I'm happy to gift it to you. And she was super happy and picked the Desert Desire. So that one's gone out of the door already. It's long gone, not part of my collection anymore. I'm really proud of myself that I've been able to pass on another palette to a good home, to another makeup lover who's excited about this. The other palette is another Revolution palette, and this is the Phoenix palette, and I've also decided to part with this one. I don't quite know yet who might want it. I'm just gonna, you know, ask around friends and family, because I've already hit 3 pans in here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm just gonna ask around. I did wonder for a moment, shall I hold on to it? Maybe just depot shadows that I'm really into. Hold back with some other ones, maybe for frankening purposes. But I just think I don't need to do that. There's nothing in here that is so special that I need to hold on to it. And then also these sort of more reddish leaning shades. I mean, this is what I would normally be trying to franken in other palettes. So I'd need something more cool toned in order to make it more neutral. So why hold on to that? And these are like mattes, and this is a sequin shadow actually, but I just think, you know, I'd rather keep it in its entirety, and maybe one of my family and friends will want it. So this is going as well. And there's a palette here that I'm not quite sure on. So another Revolution palette, Creator Revolution Forever Limitless Nude Rain. 27 shadows in here initially, but I've already started taking a lot of them out for frankening. So I'm wondering whether to, you know, officially, it doesn't even sit in my drawer anymore. It's just somewhere else with like my alcohol, rubbing alcohol, surgical spirit for frankening. I'm wondering whether to officially take it out of my spreadsheet and then therefore, you know, only use what's here for frankening only. But then again, say I were to do pan those eyeshadows ever again, I would kind of like the challenge of having whatever is left in here as part of the rotation. That kind of makes me think then it should not officially leave my collection just yet. Let me know your thoughts. Be happy to hear what you think. And then finally, 9th palette. So let's not count the previous one, that was just an aside. This is the Revolution Constellation palette. I've had this for a long time. I think me on YouTube. So 2021, I believe I bought this. I can confirm this here if I do remember. If it's in my spreadsheet, I can let you know. So this is my most loved looking palette. I've got 8 pans in here, and I love looking at that for that reason. But then again, in terms of the color story, I feel like it's a little bit all over the place. So it's not a palette that I'm reaching for, where I'm really inspired to just create a look just out of whatever's here. I can't see myself doing that. There are some shadows in here that I absolutely adore. For example, Dimension, which is a beautiful pink with a blue shift in there. Part of me kind of doesn't want to do this because then my most panned palette is gone. But yeah, I think it's time. So I think I would save Dimension, maybe one of the purples as well, maybe Celestial if I can't really quite dupe it in my collection. Highly doubt that, but you just never know. Maybe even something like that. It could be kind of fun to like, ooh, franken this a little bit. Just play a little bit, play around. So those are my 9, but I need to pick a 10th palette, and there is one thing I had in mind. But before I share that idea with you, I just want to show you something I did. The other day, I was just doing like a rapid fire palette tournament type of thing, just in my own time. And I just wanted to see, you know, sort of intuitively, so very, very fast, without trying to overthink anything, which palettes would go on the chopping block. So I did 2 quick rounds, very quickly, just this or that, and then picking one of them fast to save and one to put on the chopping block. And then going through that first round of chopping block again, whittled it down to 9 palettes. And I would just like to show them to you because I thought it was kind of interesting. And initially in that first round, I teamed them together. So for example, I would put all my Beauty Bay palettes next to each other. I put the smaller palettes with each other, the quads and whatnot. I felt like that made more sense. But yeah, let me just share that pile with you here. So this is my unofficial chopping block pile. First of all, I Heart Revolution Cherry Please, a 5-pan palette. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, potentially I could let go of this. I think with this entire pile, it would make sense for me to roll that into my No Pan Left Behind project very soon. Maybe not all of them at once. I tend to pair them together. I'd like to put in palettes that are very similar to compare them to each other. Also this one, XX Revolution Sugar Baby, this is one of my Pan That Palette contenders for next year. Maybe this could be too. Oh, I get so confused. I sort of confuse myself. Yeah, this is what I mean with the overthinking, but whatever I looked at in comparison to this one, this didn't make it. So part of the chopping block and might get panned next year, who knows. This exact same story, another contender for 2026. It's originally a 9-pan by Catrice. Tropic, exotic, but it's down to 6 shadows now. There's also the ABH Riviera palette. This one really surprised me, but I think part of the reason is, and that's why I'm not opening it up, so you're seeing older footage of this palette, is that maybe I'm sort of a bit worn out on this palette because it's been my Pan That palette in order this year. There's also the rust issue, which is here in this palette too. Not that many shadows from what I can tell, but these pans are also magnetic, so maybe this is another contender for depotting. Then there's this one, Revolution Passion. I've got 5 of these new neutral palettes. This was the first one I bought. I got it during COVID. I couldn't even swatch it. I just wanted a bit of fun. This sort of kicked off the palette purchase thing that I had going there. I think in my head it was always, oh, but this is part of a set, you know, I must not get rid of it, but I would consider. And maybe again, only a few shadows that I would save from here. September Rose, still pretty. Also was on the chopping block. I think mainly because there are just so many shadows here, and I normally don't love reds. I do like pinks, however. I just feel like I need to spend more time with it. I think it's another contender to roll into No Pan Left Behind. I could compare it to my other pink palettes. This one, maybe another sort of, yeah, initially I would like to get to know it better. I've never completed a No Pan Left Behind on this palette. XX Revolution Mint Master Luxe. I think it could be another fun one for frankening. But also, kind of my only pastel palette. I'm unsure about this one. Ciate London, I'm a Woman, What's Your Superpower? There's just a lot of sameness going on in here, but I quite like it. So even though here it's on this spontaneous chopping block, I think I'd still hold on to it. And finally, Beauty Bay New Mood. So this one, I've got 2 other ones that I all got from Ruth. This one is my least favorite out of the 3, and I've been toying with the idea, so maybe this could be my 10th palette. Again, let me know what you think, of making a custom-made wilderness palette. So in the wilderness palette, which you're seeing here, there are 4 shadows in there that I would like to get rid of because I don't really use them. Snow, I could put that into a Franken face powder. And then the reds that I just find really tricky, and the formula isn't that great on them anymore either. Poppy, Raw, and Heat. And I'm thinking of replacing them with Serene. So this white shimmer here. Also with Focus, this matte Periwinkle. This deep pink Passionate. And this shadow Intimate as well. And then there are 4, possibly 5 shadows here that I'm wanting to hold on as well, which are Free, Pink Shift on a white shimmer, Content, another blue matte, slightly purple, the blue shimmer Inspired, it's got a nice flip on there, Gracious as well. And then with Tender, I would like to just swatch that out next to some of the shades in the Juvia's Place, the Sweet Pinks, to see if it's a dupe or not. So those are my thoughts. I mean, it's been a little while since I put that list together. I might, you know, do it differently. I might not actually do it at all, but that could be one thing to do. I think I'm gonna pause here and let you carry on watching to see how all of this unfolds. Okay, let's do this. Let's find the 10th palette to declutter. It's actually the same day, just at night. I'm hoping this setup works. I quickly want to show you the palettes from my original Eyeshadow Declutter Project Pan series that actually ended up on the chopping block and that haven't already been either depotted or decluttered or passed on, or that are already in that quick fire chopping block that I shared earlier in this video. So there's the Essence Welcome to Miami palette, and here's this one. I am wearing the pink shimmer a lot right now because I'm still panning pink looks right now. Then there's the Colori Vivace palette by BH Cosmetics. I had this as my palette for a little while in 2024. I've no idea why this one ended up being on the chopping block because it is actually such a favourite palette. The Sweet Pinks by Juvia's Place. And I just really like it. It just really makes me happy. But yeah, whatever I had in the mix that time impressed me more. And finally, the Natasha Denona My Dream palette. There was a shadow in here, Invention, that gave me an allergic reaction. But then there are some really, really cool shadows in here. Serenity is my favorite shadow. This type of color I really, really adore. Vision is super nice, that duochrome. But then some of these other shadows here I'm not that convinced by. What I think I'll do now is combine this chopping block with the quickfire chopping block and do another quickfire round. And maybe, you know, even the easy obvious ones I'm gonna just keep in here just to train myself to be making rapid decisions that come from the gut. And then hopefully I'll be able to declutter at least one more palette by the end of this video. I've got a total of 13 palettes and I split them into 6 groups of mainly 2, but 1 group of 3. I've tried to team them together in terms of similar looking color story. Sometimes it's just similar sized packaging, and sometimes it's just, you know, whatever worked, whatever was still left. Let's do this. First, I don't know where to go now. I'm starting to overthink it. Okay, so I'm just gonna randomly grab a pile from behind me. Okay, starting here, why not? So this is now the Ciate London I'm a Woman, What's Your Superpower palette, Volume 1, I believe, and Natasha Denona My Dream palette. Okay, these look really similar. I think I'd have to actually stick with Natasha Denona and ditch Ciate just for this shadow here, Vision. Yeah, okay, all right, decision made. Okay, let's go here. Essence Welcome to Miami versus Anastasia Riviera. These look fairly similar. I don't know how this is happening, but I actually prefer the Essence formula. Interesting. Okay, fine. Let's not overthink it. Here's a set of 3 pink palettes. I thought I'd just group them together. It makes sense. So Revolution, I Heart Revolution Cherry Please, the Sweet Pinks by Juvia's, and September Rose Cosmetics, Still Pretty. I do like pink eyeshadow. These look very similar to me, but they really aren't. Oh, goodness, no, they're really not. I also want to see how similar. Let's look at some of these mattes. So Cherry Please, very pigmented. And then over here, running out of fingers, of course. That's Juvia's Place. Oh, these are really similar. Here and here. Maybe even this one. Okay, we've got 3 very similar palettes. Let's try some of these more different looking shadows, the shimmers. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've decided. Keeping these 2 chopping block for the Cherry Please. These 2 I just picked because they're similar in size, not necessarily in terms of what's going on inside. Chopping block, keep. So the Catrice is going on the chopping block and the Colori Vivace is getting saved. And then I've got these 2 XX Revolution Mint Master Luxe and Beauty Bay New Mood. So I got my chair, we're just making it work. These are more vibrant, which I really like, and these are more pastels and therefore kind of more rare in my collection. But, oh, this is so hard. Okay, let's do some swatches. I mean, not that I can really necessarily compare any shadows. Nothing's jumping out at me in terms of similarity. I'm sure, you know, I'll watch this in editing and be like, okay, there's a white shimmer. Let's look at that. Okay, Serene, Beauty Bay, Sparkly Ethereal. And this is more pink and like a regular shimmer. What about, say, this one here? I'm always, you know, just want to see how does a neutral perform. It's nice, but it's nothing special. How about Intimate? Oh, duochromy. Okay, it's decided. Revolution, Chopping Block, Beauty Bay, Keep. And with these last two, I just didn't know how to pair them up, so they're together now. XX Revolution Sugar Baby and the Passion Palette by Revolution Pro. Both of them were actually also on the chopping block from my series. So that's interesting that they're being paired together here. And I can't just keep both of them on the chopping block. I mean, of course I can do what I want, but alright, I'd be intrigued to just swatch out some of the neutral shadows here, the neutral mattes, which I really enjoyed quite a bit. And they're really good, and they perform really well. This one here, Aura, is my favorite shade in here, but I don't know how good it is still. Wow, look at that shift. Yeah, I mean, it still works, but I don't know. It's just, sorry, but like a neutral and this pink background, I just find it a little bit off-putting here and there. Let's do these three. I've got some very similar colours going on in my collection. Okay, and let's swatch out the Sugar Baby somewhere else. Oh, definitely some dryness going on. Yeah, that one barely swatched. Hard pan. Oh, but when it does, it's good. Might be able to revive it. Maybe I'll pan it this year. Maybe it's just a depotting situation. Okay, two more. Seems more like a pressed glitter with like a purple shimmer base, but then like green shimmer particles on there. Okay, chopping block. Hold on. I've just sort of grouped them together roughly by size, even though technically the Catrice is a 6-pan palette now. But I have to go with something. So, okay, let's start over here. I Heart Revolution versus Sugar Baby. If I could only keep one. I think based on the fact that I've got a lot of pink shadows and a lot of them were kind of similar. I mean, yeah, this one is quite special, but I could always save it, right? Chopping block, keep. These two next, Riviera versus Catrice, Tropic Exotic. I would rather hold on to the ABH. Yeah, it's just, you know, with 3 shadows already taken out, and it's also one that I think I could pan maybe next year. Then again, I might depot the ABH later down the road, but obviously I've still got pans to hit. So, unofficial update, pan palette in order. Yeah, ditching the Catrice. And finally, these two, Ciate versus XX Revolution. I really like this one, Hear Me Roar. I think that's a really pretty shadow. Oh yeah, it does look nice. It's sort of wet looking. Future is Female, also really enjoyed that as a topper. Fiercely Fab, let's look at that. It's nice. There is some sort of really warm stuff going on. And then also, oh, where is the arm space? But then also, if I could find my microfiber cloth, there are some cool tone shadows too. This one maybe 2 even. So where did I put them here? And then the more cool tone stuff here. Not really 100% my colors, but I'm sort of intrigued by the shimmer still. I mean, these two, oh, they're too warm leaning. I am overthinking. Surprise, I'm keeping the Ciate XX Revolution on the chopping block. Alright, so it's between these three. Oh, I don't know. I need to make a decision now. Oh, before the end of the year. Hang on a minute. I will know what my next Pan That palette is by the end of the year, just not today yet. Because as of me filming this, I haven't even posted that video yet. I filmed it, but it's not gone up yet. I haven't had your input yet. I need help making decisions. So possibly this could be a Pan That palette next year alongside another mini. I hadn't included this one, but I'm willing to include it for next year's selection. So based on that, I'm sort of waiting, and then maybe if this isn't, you know, if my selection of mini haha palettes, if that doesn't work out, then I would declutter this one. Yeah, I think that seems fair. Otherwise, are these colors that I would really wear? I mean, these ones, yeah, I've definitely like used this. It's a cute little summer palette, but with these ones, I think I'm going to declutter this one. Yeah, I will declutter it, take it out of my spreadsheet, but I would like to keep it for frankening purposes. So it's sort of a little bit what I'm doing here with the Creative Revolution, but yeah, but then putting it back, if I was to do a panless eyeshadows again and then, you know, trying to hit pan in these, see, this is why it's so hard for me. Okay, let me rephrase that. Keeping this one, might pan it next year, might pan this one next year. If not, then both of these palettes here, I will just do a ton of fun frankening with, and then I can recycle the packaging. So 2 more, of course. 1 for sure and 1 maybe. So 10, here's my 10, and that would be 11 if this one does not get picked for next year. Okay, so to wrap things up, I have ended up passing on 4 palettes. 3 of them have already found a new home, 1 is yet to be passed on. 4 palettes I have depotted already, and then the last 2 to make 10 are the 2 palettes that I have decided to use for frankening. So actually I'm thinking, yes, this is the finale of the series, but sort of to follow on from here, I would like to still go through my single eyeshadow collection. They are actually, all of them have been either repressed or frankened, and I would like to go through them, swatch them out, maybe more like an overhead style video where I decide which of them am I gonna declutter. I need some more empty pans so that I can do all this fun frankening. So that's my next step. And then maybe in another video, I could be doing some frankening. That could be kind of fun. But that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching all the way until the end. I really hope you'll subscribe if you haven't done so already. And other than that, I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or night, wherever you are. And I'm sending you so much love. Take care. Bye.